this first set is dead even.
Unbelievable combination.
Wow.
Beautifully done.
What a great spot.
Hello and welcome to the 2025-26 APTA Tour. We're live from the Medinah Country Club in Medinah, Illinois, bringing you the 2025 Medinah Cup, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership and our tour presenting sponsor, Corient. Tournament support has also been provided by the following local sponsors: Baird Private Wealth Management, Dilly Life, Jimmy Johns, Monaco Mechanical, RT Nelson and Associates, Sport Court Midwest, Viking Athletics. I'm Guy Moore along with Mr. Steve Sullivan, bringing you the men's quarterfinals match between Girani Barnes and his partner Alex Lambropoulos, playing against the number 3 seed Charlie Emhardt and Zachary Held. Welcome, Steve.
Guy, good to be here. Yeah, this is the fall we've been waiting for. Everybody, ends the season starting to itch pretty quickly for the next paddle season to start. So good to be here. We have, as you can see in the camera, the players getting ready. We have Pat Layton in the chair. So this season, a little bit of a change, Guy. So the men's 2 out of 3 sets, no ad scoring, server's choice, right? This is a big change. I think it's an interesting change, adding a little excitement, maybe a little impact to match length time. But yeah, we've seen, the first couple terms of the season, some interesting dynamics with no ad scoring. I like it. Not sure, Guy, how you feel about it, but I think it's a good change, and we're going to, see how it impacts this match today.
Yeah, I absolutely like it, Steve. I think that, as much as we love paddle, a 6-hour match is as exciting as it can be. I mean, it's obviously long, and I think that even the finals of the Nationals last year, the men's finals, because obviously they just changed the scoring on the men's side of the tour this year, and we'll see how it goes with the ladies. But, those players are just willing to stay out there as long as it takes to win a match. But I'm sure they appreciate the change. And, the APTA's done such a great job of listening to the players and such a great board in making these changes and trying to create an environment where players aren't on the court that long. I mean, think about it. I mean, 6 hours, right? And, the ladies matches as well. I mean, 3.5 hours. So be interesting to see how it all develops this season.
All right, so let's introduce the players, orient ourselves on the court. This is Charlie Emhardt serving with Zach Held on the far side, both wearing red shirts. The near side, we have Alex Lambropoulos there in the greenish blue shirt in the deuce side. His partner, Girani Barnes, in the ad. You see him near court right here. It's a third. So we have a 32 draw, a few buys for these guys today. This is their second match. Let's see. So, yeah, both Emhardt and Held and Barnes and Lambropoulos had buys in the first rounds. This is match 2. Looks like a bit of an overcast day. I think we're temps in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken, in Medinah, Illinois. It should be an interesting match. Let's see how they sort of get going here.
Yeah, and with Barnes and Lambropoulos, I mean, both very experienced paddle players, and Barnes is one of these guys, Steve, that moves forward very well. You could even see it right there. I mean, he is looking to move forward and get engaged in kind of the hand-to-hand combat. And Zach Held has been around the game a long, long time. And Emhardt, a great partner for him. But Zach hits a ton of rollers. And you saw that early in the game there. I mean, he goes right at the nick. He's aiming at the nick. He uses a full Western grip, a lot of RPMs on the ball. So Lambropoulos serving here. And look for Barnes too. Barnes likes to move and poach, and very quick moving forward Barnes is.
So we're in the middle of October. I think I saw temps in the 60s. it's not boiling, but this is really warm weather paddle, right? So it's a little bit unique on how we think about seeing transitions, risk reward of drives. At times keeping the ball on the racket, keeping it in the court can be difficult, but you see a lot of physical movement so far in the first game or so.
Yeah, these guys all like to move up. I mean, probably going to see a lot of transition here, and these guys like to play fast points. I mean, the pace of this match, even early on here, a game and a point in is quick.
I like the move. Good move by Charlie. Emhardt just sort of pushed that backhand volley a little bit wide, but the positioning was right.
Yeah, and you can see Zach Held. I mean, with that full Western grip, he loves to rip forehands. And Held's played with a bunch of different partners over the last few years, so he's versatile. He knows the game well, and it's going to be a fun match to watch because, and that's the thing about Lambropoulos too. He has a big backhand off that. If you don't get the ball to the side wire over there, he's going to bring it. And that's the roller I was talking about with Held.
Yeah, you could see him almost running around it, moving himself into the middle of the court to, line up that roller city. So it's, some people get very comfortable with the shot. It looks like he's going to be pulling it out quite often today.
In Emhardt, you can see early too, Steve just loves to poach and move. He's always active.
40-15 game, Barnes Lambropoulos, score is 1-all, first set.
Nice patient little cutter there by Alex Lambropoulos.
Yeah, very, very talented. He held that so well, didn't he? He let that ball drop.
Yeah, super patient. Didn't try to do too much. Actually looked sort of easy on the arm. But again, we have an active ball, and it's all about contact, right? Getting the right amount of grit on the ball.
Yeah, Held loves to hit that roller overhead. And he's got sneaky spin on the ball too. Even when he's hitting kind of the cutter and he's not rolling it. Steve, the ball is moving. Barnes is making that look easy, but it's not. And there's a good example of that. How much spin, and that's a good pattern right there. He's going at Barnes, and then he goes at Lambropoulos. You know who does that pattern so well, just kind of opposite, is Nunez. He goes cutter to the deuce side because he's lefty, and then he goes major cutter, slider to the ad side.
That's one of those sort of kill shots we've seen used a little more. Russell Benkheim has it as well, right into the deuce corner, that if you let it drop to the right height and you sort of just slide it into the corner, it's almost, in today's game, one of the most unreturnable shots we have.
It is. It's snowboard material, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've used that phrase before. Do you like that one, Steve?
Love it. No snow today, but the boards are still there. Let's use them.
Yes, they are. And you'll see Barnes. He's just so smart and patient. Nothing really fools him. He is very, very fast.
Yeah, great technique. Just how he opens up his paddle. I think I like the take there, but got away from it a little bit. He is patient in that corner. Just opening up the paddle, going down to the ball, letting the ball come to him.
And I'll tell you something about Zach Held. He's been around the game a long time, Steve. Very, very, very smart player. He is one of those guys who just does not beat himself. He doesn't make silly mistakes. knows the game very well.
Yeah, I like the partnership. Charlie Emhardt, so far, we're only 3 games in. He's very methodical in that he's sort of controlling, working Johnny Barnes a little bit in the corner, very patiently, pulling the balls off the side screen with some good cut. Looks like he has a lot of options. So, this team is the number 3 seed. Not the fullest draw we've had so far this season, but, this team, they look like they're in a little bit of control, but I'm expecting a little more athleticism from Lambropoulos and Barnes on the other side of the net.
Yeah, I would think that Barnes will start to put a little pressure and move a little vertical, moving forward. He's got such great hands and he's so fast. You can see there too from Barnes. I mean, he's serving and just putting the ball in play. You know why, Steve? Because he trusts his first volley so much. He's so balanced and he comes in, gets set. He's not moving.
Yeah, it's trusting his volley.
Right there.
Like there, yeah.
I mean, so still, right? I mean, from the service line, that was not an easy volley.
Little score update in the bottom right from another men's quarterfinal match. Lofgren and Ong up a set, 3-1, 40-15. Look like they're in control there against Oaks and his partner, who I believe are the number 4 seed this week, Teofanovic and Oaks. So a little bit of an upset there, but Ong and Lofgren also, ton of experience, ton of capability on that side of the net.
Yeah, another new partnership, whether it is just for one tournament or not. I mean, that's kind of the nice thing about both the women's and men's sides. I mean, I think players everyone lines up and knows who they're going to play with during the nationals because that's what everyone strives for. But at the same time, it's nice to see players partnering up with different people during the course of the year. And those matchups make things tricky as well. That's that big roller from Held. I mean, it's just the RPMs on that. I mean, and he 100%, Steve, is aiming at the neck.
And it's one of those shots that there's so much versatility on speed, direction, spin, that it's very difficult unless you get in a rhythm that you can predict where this ball's coming. But I also like the fact that he's changed it up a little bit. He's going to bring it, but the extent he can change speed, direction, and some of that spin, it's tough to read, especially in a day when the ball's a little heated.
Yeah, so we have 2-2 first set here at Medinah. You got Emhardt serving, kind of the blue and white hat. You got Zachary Held at the net. You got nice matching outfits. Johnny Barnes in the gray and black shorts, and his partner Alex Lambropoulos to our right. And this is kind of how I thought this match would go, Steve. Quick. I mean, we're 10 minutes into the match and it's 2-2, and
I'm fine. You guys are good. Keep going.
These guys all like to play fast.
Yeah, they're bringing the offense, and I mentioned Andrew Ong and the other quarterfinal match, one of those players that is very patient. People like Tomas Christian, Broderick, of course. You mentioned Graham McNerney, as well as some of the other top players like Salazar and Alvi Regalado. There's definitely a cadence to certain people's games. Some players love the patience. They're playing to win. You mentioned Graham's comments to you from last season that says, hey, if it's a 5-hour match and that's what I need to do to win, I'm going to play a 5-hour match. But it is refreshing to see these two teams swinging away. You now have the roller, on the other side of the net, Emhardt as well. Offense is a little bit more exciting, and, they're sort of staying on serve. So at some point we get deeper into the set, the text could change a little bit. All right, a quick read from one of our national sponsors. Corient is the official wealth sponsor of the APTA's 25-26 season. Corient is a fee-only wealth manager who puts their clients at the center of everything they do. Learn more at corient.com.
So, Steve, what are your initial thoughts on this match? I mean, it's as close as it can be so far, but when we say playing fast, teams like to play fast. What does that actually mean from the baseline scheme and from the net scheme?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we've brought it up a few times. The team now in the near court held in Emhardt, you know, using the roller. That's a very offensive shot. I don't think it's a lot of risk reward, but if you're at the net, you know, you're looking maybe at cutters. You're looking at, you know, a little bit heavier spins, you know, into the corners. You're going for the nick. You're taking a couple more, you know, chances. And if you're at the baseline, it's, you know, like that shot there from Lambropoulos, like how often are you going to be ripping ground strokes? The challenge in a day like today is, you know, if the net players, you know, hold their ground and that ball moves through, they're going to be one step away from it coming off the back screen. So, you know, I think it is the typical offensive play. It's a little more swinging away from the baseline. It's a little more action and juice from the net. But these days it can be tough. It can be tough to win the point. So this is a little bit what we have to sort of see. That I think what's driven the speed of this match is, yes, a little bit of the offense, but there have been a few more unforced errors, right? You saw that big cut by Zach Held on that forehand. I think he loves to run around it either on the, you know, roller at the net. So yeah, I think the pace is a little more the error-driven pace today, but both teams are swinging away.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's, you know, from the net scheme part of it, it's certainly more from Emhardt and Held. I mean, those guys are hitting rollers and cutters. Barnes and Lambropoulos not doing quite the same, but you know, Lambropoulos from the baseline, huge backhand, and Barnes, I think you'll see him start to move forward and get engaged, and like even there, picking up that half volley off the deck and shots like that, that's exactly what he's so good at.
And I like that. You get, you know, Barnes hit that ball. Obviously, he tried to put it into the corner, likely looking towards the nick, but I think he saw Charlie Emhardt move forward, and he gave him a ball he could play, right? A very low percentage ball. Charlie Emhardt couldn't quite keep it on the court. Those are the, you know, the balls that I think you want the defender to take a cut at. They can't generate a lot of offense, and they're a little more difficult to keep in play. So, like the decision on that shot there by Geronimo Barnes.
And notice too how early he's getting in, he's hunting, he's moving and looking for that forehand drive. And if he doesn't get what he wants, he'll lob the ball down the line just like that. And when he's lobbing the ball down the line, that's such a good shot.
That's the one, right?
Wow. And by the way, Steve, Emhardt was not that close to the net when he hit that cutter. That's not that easy of a shot to hit. Look at this.
Nice pressure serve in the previous point. And I think this is the risk reward on the returns. You know, these balls in the serve can be coming in quite hot, and you really got to sort of take it off the deck, time it, short back swing, ball out in front, and hope you can keep that ball in your paddle and control it into the court. So both teams are sort of ripping at the returns. I'd say there's probably a few more unforced errors than they would like. You can kind of see there a little bit of Lambropoulos looking at an opportunity. He's still coming forward there.
Yeah, he loves his back then.
I think Barnes was playing for the nick, and ball stayed behind him a little bit.
30-15.
Good look, though, from Barnes. Great look, actually.
Yeah, sometimes as the returner, you're willing to take a few cuts to get that timing, right? If you know that's a shot you want to, bring into the match and hopefully makes a difference. I think you're okay with early or not in this set. In the first set, try to take a couple cuts. Everybody serves coming in a little differently from a spin, pace, position perspective. So I'm not too upset that Barnes has taken a couple cuts at it.
Yeah, not at all. Tell you what, Emhardt is playing a great match right now, Steve. I mean, just the variety with his overheads, the spins, the cutters, is keeping Lambropoulos and Barnes kind of on their heels a little bit.
Yeah, they appear, right? We're on serve. I think we've stayed on serve the entire time, which isn't always the cadence in paddle, but they look like, even though we're still on serve, like Emhardt and Held are a little bit more guy in control. It seems like they're winning the games a little more simply. It looks like there's a little bit more pressure to dig out the service game. Obviously we're at a magical point, usually the 7th game. Now we're coming into the 8th game in a set. Sometimes is when a team makes a move. So it'll be interesting to see here if Held and Emhardt can sort of make a little bit of hay on this sort of push serve by Johnny Barnes.
That's such a good neutralizing overhead down the middle there. It's deep, it's dying. It's just it's a tough ball to drive when it's that low. Steve, have you seen Barnes serve like this recently? Just kind of pushing it in, not in a good or bad way. Just, it's,
I think I called one of his matches last year. I remember him serving out and not doing a push serve, so this is either new to me or I'm not remembering it, but listen, it's risk reward. We mentioned before he trusts his volley, but his partner Lambropoulos is also playing pretty steady paddle at the net. Now the challenge there is, both of them sort of, Barnes didn't get quite up to the ball and Held, he's moving, right? And this is that, returner's sometimes advantage, and you can see it here. Emhardt's doing the same thing. You can almost change the direction of who's playing offense here if you can get that return at the feet of the server.
Well, and that's why I was asking you the question. It's almost if you're going to hit that push serve, and then you have to ask yourself as a team, hey, are we being successful with that? If not, maybe they just stay back because they're blitzing behind that serve almost every time. Both Held and Emhardt.
Right. So and there it is. There's the break. So it's a choice. Do you, as the push server, do you keep with it? Do you keep pushing forward? But if it's not working and you're going to lose the net anyway, why not lose the net and at least be in a stable position where you're not going to?
Exactly.
Great volley there. Yeah, great volley there by Charlie Emhardt, just sort of pushing that backhand into the corner.
And by the way, Steve, both of these guys with their rollers are 100% aiming at the neck all the time. And they're hitting it a lot of the time.
Yeah, a lot of times, okay, let's talk about my level, right? At the club level, lower PTIs, you play a match, the team's drilling the nick, and it's a little bit frustrating. These guys, it's a little different. They're hitting the nick, but they're aiming for the nick. And honestly, nobody in the corner, they're going to probably be within a couple inches of the nick on, 8 out of 10 balls. So that's where it's also risk reward. If you see that team kind of pummel it, there's one again. And I think Lambropoulos did the right thing. You need to somehow step forward and just take that off the table, right? Move forward, block that ball back. Otherwise, it's a crapshoot.
Well, and the reason they're aiming for the nick as well is because what we said earlier, they like to play fast. I mean, aiming for the nick is only going to speed up the point. But we also do know, too, Steve, that pace does not favor the net team. So if Barnes or Lambropoulos are blocking the ball, it will speed the point up in their favor as well. Especially if they block it down the line, because the next ball is going to go cross court probably, which creates movement from the net team and then big holes to drive to.
All right, so after 7 holds, we have a break, and now love 40 for a second break. I think that was a little bit of a loose point there by Charlie Emhardt. But the last 2 forehands that Geronimo Barnes hit really dipped, right? Full swing, got it just over the net, down at the feet of the net player.
That's such a good shot. He held that.
Yeah, great positioning. Sort of kept his back to his opponents and just waited. All the options in the world, but really good execution there by Geronimo Barnes.
Question for you, Steve. You ready?
Ready.
I mean, and that's a good example of why I'm asking you this question. Would you rather have someone drive off the deck at you or hit an offensive screen drive at you? Interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the deck is you can follow it a little better.
Right.
You can
I
see
agree
you
with
can
you.
see the takeaway, and it's not as there's not as many options if they're hitting it off the deck, I find. So, you know, the cadence of the point, you're sort of moving forward. Hopefully, you're seeing the ball. You see their take back. I think that's, to me, the more comfortable place to be in. That last shot that Geronimo Barnes hit, you know, coming off the back screen or the side screen, you know, you typically, it's a great movement. I like the forward movement, but yeah, Charlie Emhardt got stuck there. But I think, yeah, the side and back screen drive, it's a little bit more unpredictable when you're there at the net defending, right? So I tend to get, and I tend to fall back on my heels sometimes in those situations. But yeah, this is continuing to be a fast-paced points. Both teams moving forward.
Absolutely. And going back to that conversation, I couldn't agree with you more. I'd much rather someone drive the ball off the deck at me than off the screen, just for the reason we saw Barnes hold that back in and just pull the trigger at the last moment. It's just tough to know what's happening.
Like the patience there by Charlie Emhardt. Clearly wants to move forward, but at some point, you know, just focus on getting the paddle behind the ball, putting the ball back over the net. Stop trying to win the point, and then slowly retreated. You know, took his medicine. So I really like that patience. You know, I think he wants that one back. All right, 30-all. We have Alex Lambropoulos serving there in the deuce side in the light blue shirt, far side. And Charlie Emhardt here in the blue ad side, getting ready to return.
And I'll tell you something about Lambropoulos' serve. I mean, it's deep in the box. I mean, obviously that was a fault, but I mean, it is deep. It's hard to get on top of, for sure.
All right, here we go. First no ad, deuce point, sudden death, server's choice. So Lambropoulos goes to the ad. And I like the call. Even though Held had missed a return earlier in the game, you know, Emhardt had just missed. He missed that serve at the 30-40 point, you know, by a quarter of an inch. That's his spot you mentioned, super deep in the court, and that's his comfortable serve. So, you know, go right back at it. Like the call. Now we're back to 5-all for a set.
I tell you what, Steve, I really felt like the momentum was on Emhardt and Held's side there, but I mean, we are neutral right now. By the way, it can't get any closer. 5-all, love all, right?
It cannot. I agree. I thought we were going to fade into a 6-3 set there. You know, there are a couple really nice returns by Barnes in the 5-3 game, and a couple loose shots by Held and Emhardt. And yeah, there it goes. And you can see now they got the first point advantage here.
Look for it, Steve. Look for Barnes to surprise you moving forward and getting involved in some hand-to-hand combat. He will do it at a very important time. And I'll tell you what else Barnes is doing. He is lobbing extremely well down the line. And
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yep, that the direction of his lobs are pretty impressive so far.
yeah, they're good. I mean, they're right near the alley, the doubles alley, and notice too, he's sliding to his left when this is what I'm talking about with Barnes. Oh, but that's what they want. Win or lose that point. That's the move that he's so good at. I mean, look at his hands there, so quiet, right?
Yep, Lambropoulos moved to the right spot. He just didn't execute the ball. Yeah.
And that's where Barnes, when he lobs down the line, you'll see him sneak to his left a little bit. He doesn't always do it, but he'll time it.
Yeah, the down the line lob that we've seen from Barnes, it's interesting, right? That we know the court's shorter, but yeah, he's got that really open face technique. That one he just got away from a little bit, but it makes the righty net player also go for a very small target, right? We've seen Emhardt, a few of them go back down the line. He's playing in a, maybe a 12, 18-inch spot to hit that down the line shot. But then you're also going cross court on a high overhead, which is not the traditional natural place to be hitting it as a righty. So yeah, that down the line lob's very tricky, and so far pretty well executed.
Yeah, he's almost using that, exclusively. I mean, that's the one he likes. Another thing to be noted too, Steve, is when he's lobbing down the line, he's creating movement. The next ball goes to Lambropoulos most of the time, right?
Yeah, little bit of frustration. We got it here for a second no ad, sudden death point. Held's going ad towards Johnny Barnes.
This is 2 games in a row here, right?
Yep. Last game on the serve, Alex Lambropoulos was able to get that point.
I tell you what, it's going to be a measurable stat after the season. Who converted more on these sudden death points? I mean, It's going to be big. There's that lob down the line. We talk about Barnes.
Yeah, really got held out of position.
Right. So since that lob, Steve, 7, 8, 9, 10 balls ago now, I mean, there's been a little bit of a scramble from Held and Emhardt at the net.
Yeah, they're grinding. You
there it is. I mean, and you could go back to that lob 15 balls ago. Agree?
Oh, yeah. There was a point earlier in that game, Guy, where you could see the communication on that ball down the middle coming off of the down the line lob, where Held's trying to move back in. Emhardt's not sure. Does he let that ball go? Does he take it? Held's been running around a lot of those middle balls to hit a roller forehand. But I think that's the objective, right? If you're on defense and you're lobbing, you want to obviously, deep, high. But if to the extent you can move those players and get them out of sync and create sort of an opening in the court, they're very well done, right? Barnes and Lambropoulos have done a really good job of just sort of being patient. And from 5-3 in the first set, Held and Emhardt really look like they're grinding, right? And sometimes the team that looks like they're trying hard is the team that's struggling.
They switch out here or not? They're going to stay or switch? Well, doesn't matter now, does it?
15, lob.
Yep.
No, I think too, Steve, when I watch Barnes over there on the ad side, he is almost always lobbing down the line, which is a great tactic. And there's no indecision. That's why, technically, that's why they're so good.
Get out.
A really big return there by Zach Held, but Barnes and Lambropoulos just being patient, letting them take the net. Lambropoulos looks pretty calm and collected there. That's a nick, yep.
Yep. Emhardt's aiming for that for sure. I mean, every ball is going right at the corner. Every single ball. 4 in a row, right? 5.
Go. Stay there.
Great cover by Lambropoulos. Notice too, Steve, how all 4 players are drifting and covering the middle when the ball. They know where the ball's going to go, so they're already in the middle. So if there is a nick, that it isn't a scramble at all.
Yeah, they should be, and they are, moving to that likely spot, right? The nick's going 1 of 2 places. You're as the one defending that nick, either going to be there moving forward, or your partner's going to be sliding to the middle, catching the one that sprays to the other direction. So, smart positioning. Most of these guys, it looks effortless because they're moving to the right spot, right? First step's always to the right place. You can just feel the pressure at this point.
Help!
They are aiming at the nick almost 90% of the time, aren't they? Both players. How many nicks have we seen in this point?
5. Oh, it stayed in. I'm not sure the blitz by Lambropoulos was the right call. Didn't matter anyway, but...
Steve, yeah, okay. I'll just say okay.
That was a suicide mission, but maybe he was put a little pressure on him, thinking Barnes is going to have his back,
30 all.
Big rip there by Charlie Emhardt.
Sure was. He covered the ball well.
Yep.
They've used eye a couple times in both courts. So just giving different looks, making the returner think about positioning of that return. It's a great play when you are defending really big ground stroke returns. So
40, 30.
we have a set point.
Get in fast. He's going to try to dip it down.
We did.
Cover that middle.
So Ozzy here.
God damn it.
Yeah, Steve, I almost wanted them to stay back during that point, just to make sure because the pressure is not on them with the set point. Stay back, guarantee getting into the point under their terms.
Agreed. All right.
Back.
Set point, game point.
Let's go. Game in first set. Barnes Lambropoulos 7-5.
Wow, what a difference in this scoring, huh? It's just changing. It's obviously just making a big difference in what we're seeing in time frames. So, great first set. We'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel with live streaming provided by CSM Media.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
Hi guys, my name is B. Lopez. I'm original from Barcelona, Spain, but I actually grew up in Murcia, in a city in the southeast of Spain. I started playing paddle in the fall of 2022 when I started teaching at Orange Lawn. My favorite paddle memories so far has been with my partner, Thea Page, where we beat Lena Macy. We really enjoyed it a lot. I would say my strength on the paddle court is my forehand drive, especially when I set up myself to drive those forehands, also driving off the screen. I enjoy about paddle being out here, meeting new people. The community is an amazing community, so much fun. You kind of disconnect from work for the weekend, have some fun after the tournament. Sometimes you can go party a little bit. My partners and I goals are just like keep having fun, enjoy every moment in the court. If you don't enjoy, I don't think you're gonna be successful. My favorite tournament is Short Hills because we played it in New Jersey and it's so fun. All of the members at my club come out and watch, and the atmosphere is amazing. It's a great party. A fun fact is that I'm very good friends with Carlos Alcaraz. I met him when I was 7 years old. I used to practice with his older brother, Alvaro, and we became very good friends. Carlos, if you're watching this, you have to start playing some platform tennis and go for the mixed nationals. I'm B. Lopez, and this is the APTA Tour. Vamos!
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We're here at the Medinah Cup in Medinah, Illinois, with our quarterfinal match between Johnny Barnes and Alex Lambropoulos, playing the number 3 seed, Charlie Emhardt and Zachary Held. I'm with Steve Sullivan. I'm Guy Moore. Great first set. I mean, those last 3 games, Steve, came down to our new scoring this season, no ad points, server's choice. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we could say it's a good first set. I would say it was a good 2 sets in one. Started out super routine. We'd mentioned about the speed of the match, Guy. Really fast service holds, maybe a few too many return errors. Got to 2-all, 3-all, 5-3. Then Emhardt and Held went up. It seemed like they were in control. They were a little bit more patient at the net, and I think Barnes and Lambropoulos were maybe pushing it a little too hard, and then everything sort of switched, right? They played a very good return game. I commented on a couple really big looping forehands by Johnny Barnes, and then a couple unforced errors by Emhardt and Held, and then all of a sudden we get to 5-4, 3 no ad, sudden death, deuce points go one way, right? Barnes and Lambropoulos win 3 straight no ad points, take the set 7-5. And those last couple games also, to me, Guy, felt like Emhardt and Held felt like they started pushing and rushing and pressing a little bit, which is never the place you want to be on a paddle court. So, all right, we have all four people back, but yeah, great first set. Love the stats we just brought up from Court Director. One of the new investments from the APTA, trying to bring a lot more technology. Also, with CSM Media this week, doing the production. Yeah, more and more to come from the APTA, so appreciate that. And it looks like we got Charlie Emhardt getting ready to serve here. In the blue hat, red shirt, far side. Second set, here we go.
By the way, Steve, what do you think about Zachary Held changing out of their team uniform?
I grew up in the days playing, whether it's college tennis or, some other events where we always matched, right? You always had to wear the same stuff, 90% matching on color. I really am a fan of what Team Regalazar did last year. They're wearing the same unis. They put the team name on the back, a little F1 action. I like it, right? So I got no issue. We see it a lot more in the women than men, which not surprising. But yeah, in this case, change the mojo, right? No issues here with Zach Held going with the off-color shirt.
Well, at least it makes it easier for us to tell everyone who's who, right?
There you go.
So I think what we'll see here too, and this is what I've seen in the past from Barnes, Ronnie Barnes. Once they're front runners, you'll see him being much more vertical. What I mean by vertical is moving forward. You see how he's sneaking forward right now? He's looking to get engaged. And that's one of his strengths, is quick hands and fast hands and misdirection. Very, very good at that.
Yeah, in all racket sports, we talk a lot about anticipation or being in the right place. Paddle has a little bit of a unique cadence to it and a predictability to it of sort of how the points develop and where you see those openings. So you're seeing it from Johnny Barnes. Like sometimes we say he's creeping, they're like looking for that shot. They may not take it, but you got to be in the spot to take advantage of it. So I love the movement. I think we've seen it a little bit on both sides. We started that first set, and Charlie Emhardt was the one that was really active and moving all over the place. Now that's from the net, but from the baseline, you need to figure out how to generate those opportunities, and it's all about being in the right spot. So, yeah, quick break of serve there.
You know what I like too about Barnes and Lambropoulos is that Barnes is only focused on his side screen. He's not worried about what's going on in the middle, and the reason for that is because Alex Lambropoulos has such an amazing backhand. So Barnes is really only focused on what's to his left. He's not worried about anything else, and it's kind of been. I mean, that's why he's lobbing down the line so much, is because he wants the ball to move to Lambropoulos, and here it is again. There it is, right there, moving the ball over. And the more movement the net team has, Steve, the weaker they are, and the more free looks that Barnes and Lambropoulos are going to get. You'll see when they flip the switch, when they lob the ball well, how they all of a sudden are ready to go offensively.
Nice court coverage there. Let's see if they switch back there and want to get back to their normal sides.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of rush to do that. And I would say because of Alex's backhand over there, kind of a nice little look, nice little change.
Got a little pickle point there. Yeah, it's interesting. Zach Held, he's moving forward on every point. I think we've probably played 7 points this set. He's probably moved forward on 5 of them, which is just, a style of play that's, much more offensive driven. He's got the technique, he's got the volleys, and that we talk about his roller. Definitely feels more comfortable. He's trying to take, nice return there. First one to the net.
Great transition. Smart move by Barnes to stay back. Steve, have we seen a slow point yet? I'll take that as a no.
Not a lot of slow points.
Which is fine. I mean, both these teams appreciate the matchup. I mean, it's going to be what it is. And it's going to, you know what it's going to come down to, Steve? It's going to come down to shot making. Basic. When you play a fast match like this, it's going to come down to shot making.
Yeah, and obviously for us as, commentators and for the viewers, no complaints, right? We love seeing, some of the offense. It's just a different style of play. So it's a bit refreshing. from some of the other very slow tactical teams that we see sometimes on the East Coast. This is a, you can see there Charlie Emhardt. He's playing in no man's land, but he's looking for that ball that he can sort of take advantage of. It's interesting, Guy. I feel like this is the cadence of point we saw at 1-all, 2-all, and 3-all, and then 5-3 Emhardt held in the first set. It seems like maybe the reset and trying to be a little bit more physically active. Yeah, but both held in Emhardt. You can just see a little bit of a different energy of moving forward than we saw in those last 3 or 4 games of that first set.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know what it comes down to too, Steve, is when you're moving forward and doing all the things that we're seeing on both sides of the net here, it's going to come down to who volleys better. I mean, that's it. I mean, players aren't going to miss a bunch of overheads. It's going to come down to volleys. Like the last 3 drives you just saw.
He held almost all the way at the baseline as he moves back to hit that roller. And you mentioned it before, Guy, the deeper the lob, the more separation of the net team, the more openings. So that's a very effective sort of defensive lob strategy. And I think Held and Emhardt are sort of playing into it. A little bit of a
Barnes
low reward shot there.
Yeah. Well, two things, Steve. The match comes down, taking away that, Emhardt and Held are aiming for the nick a lot with their overheads. If they hit the nick a lot, then probably going to be somewhat successful, but it comes down to volleys, and then it also comes down to the basics. I mean, who's not going to miss serve returns? And we haven't seen a lot of faulting or first volleys. I mean, something like that. That's not a shot that Emhardt misses much, right? But clearly trying to win the point with a short angle volley, drop shot.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Graham McNerney, but you got to be on top of the net, right? That's a very difficult shot to execute.
You see Held completely off the court, sliding right. So Emhardt knows that's his overhead. I like that lob from Barnes. Not too high, right into a gray area, causes confusion. Same there.
And it set up Emhardt for that lower cross-court sort of slash overhead we talked about in the first set. He executed one perfectly in the first set. Oh, it stayed in.
Oh, what a great volley by Held. And that's where Held is so sneaky good, Steve. He'll hit a shot like that. I mean, he hasn't hit that shot the entire match. I mean, what a great time to use it.
All right, 40-30. Zach Held serving.
Score is deuce.
Server's choice, no ad point.
All right, fourth no ad point of the match.
And Emhardt and Held are 0 for 3.
0 for the match. Yep.
For the match, okay. Be careful about putting that ball down the line, Barnes.
And look at the spot. Look at the spot that Emhardt's forced to, hit into if he wants to play that.
Wow.
Game Emhardt Held. They lead the second set 2-1. Barnes Lambropoulos won the first.
I tell you what, I like the lob down the line, though. I don't think that's probably one of the first ones he's missed the entire match.
Yeah, I love it. I think you could question, have they taken advantage of it? We've seen some huge separation by Held and Emhardt, where it looks like they've completely gotten themselves, out of the point. So there's been a couple Held hit the roller volley from almost the baseline, stayed back. And I'm not sure Lambropoulos and Barnes have always taken advantage of it to get the transition. So the strategy's right. It's opening up the courts, giving them opportunities. They're still on serve, up a set. But, it's been impressive watching that down the line lob by Geronimo Barnes.
And that push serve has not hurt them at all. Just because his first volley is so solid.
15, love.
I mean, think about it too, Steve. I mean, how often do we talk about players and say, hey, the strength of their game is their first volley, which is the toughest shot in the game? Well, with Barnes, if you're going to hit a push serve like that, it's got to be a strength. Just like that. I mean, he can go backhand, forehand. I mean, he's just balanced.
30, love.
Great footwork by both players, Barnes and Lambropoulos. Too, Steve, it's just kind of one of those matches where who's going to play the most loose points, right? Because that's just a loose miss by Emhardt, right?
Yep.
I mean, I like the fact that he was hitting a cutter, but that's why I like it.
And like the direction there, that's, Lambropoulos is a little bit forward, hitting that roller, that ball right at him, really forces him to hit a shot he doesn't want to hit or can't easily execute. So nice positioning there. And here we have Emhardt and Held just sort of moving forward a little bit more confidently.
I tell you what, the 4 or 5 volleys that Barnes and Lambropoulos just put together, again, not easy volleys, right?
Game, Barnes Lambropoulos. Score is 2-all. Second set, Barnes Lambropoulos won the first.
That's a great shot, dude. Thank you.
Steve, do you agree that it will come down to who volleys better?
Yeah. I think in a day like today, holding the volley in an active ball, big ground strokes, I can see that being a difference maker today. We've seen nice movement.
Well, the only reason I ask is for the point we just saw, or we're still watching. I mean, they just drove 6 balls, 5 balls in a row. So if you don't volley well, you're not going to be in the point. But I think that's the style of both of these teams, whether they're at the net. I would say more from Emhardt and Held side, hitting rollers and aiming at the neck overhead-wise. I don't feel like Lambropoulos and Barnes do that as much. Aiming at the neck, trying to shorten the point. They're a little more patient at the net, but these guys, their drive to lob ratio is very skewed towards driving.
Yep. It's another backhand sort of held by Geronimo Barnes. That ball off the screen that we talked about just caught Zach Held off guard.
Right. So that backside screen is actually from Barnes one of his biggest weapons in this match, because that's where he's doing damage. And it's what we talked about a moment ago. It's just unpredictable.
I got it.
And that's a look at the speed of Barnes. He's very, very fast.
Oh my God.
15, 40. Barnes Lambropoulos. They lead the second set 3-2. Barnes Lambropoulos won the first.
So, Steve, how do you see this pace favoring Barnes Lambropoulos?
Yeah, to me it is. I felt like the first few games of this set were a little bit reminiscent of set one, but it really looks like Held and Emhardt are a little bit less comfortable. They're pressing a little more. I think Lambropoulos and Barnes have sort of a little bit fallen into a comfortable routine. But hey, we're, 3-2. This match can still go either way. You see Zach Held taking a little bit of a break there.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, just talk to me. Otherwise, I'm going to try my best to just stay put or.
These faster matches, Guy, they are a little bit more aerobic, right? They may not be as long, but all the up and back, all the sort of pressing is a little bit more, takes a little bit more out of you than those, sometimes 50-point rallies where you're just sort of pushing volleys down the center. No one's really trying to do too much. Nice movement there at the net. Oh, I thought he was going to get the ATP there. Not a lot of space. You got to put your body at risk a little bit to go after that ball.
Well, and again, I mean, those were, 3 or 4, 5 drives in a row. And, yes, Lambropoulos got a little fortunate there, but still, it comes down to who's going to volley well in a match like this. Look at the drives. I mean, there's a lob there, and then, think about it too, Steve. If you volley well in any one particular match, don't you give yourself a really good chance of being successful? I mean, if you just say, I volleyed well today, which right now, Barnes and Lambropoulos are volleying a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's volleying well can mean a lot of different things, right? We see, Johan Durant, what he can do with his volleys, where he can place them, the different sort of pace he can use. I don't think we're seeing that type of volley performance, but it's more being steady, being balanced, being in the right position, and defending these ground strokes, right? Which can be a little bit early in the season and late in the season when the temperatures heat up. It's a little bit tougher than sometimes it can be appreciated, sort of keeping that ball, neutralizing it, dead-handing that volley back. But I agree. Volleying in a day like today, and I like that pace and depth right there by both Lambropoulos and Barnes.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, and again, look at that volley there. They're both, Zachary Held's moving up, and you have a team with Barnes and Lambropoulos just solid and steady up there.
Yeah, the way the ball's moving so fast, it's not even intuitive in the transition who's now in the offensive situation. So, in that case, Zach Held got a little bit caught in his heels. I think he thought his team was moving forward. Emhardt stayed back, and then before you knew it, 2 steps, and Barnes is right on top of the net.
Right.
Feels like a big point here. 30-all, 3-2. Up a set. You feel like, he gave himself a little bit of a...
Wow, great ball by Barnes. Great volley by Held.
Nope. What is that?
Wow.
Garbage. Delete in this point.
Sometimes it's hard to stop the pace of the point. And I think Emhardt got caught up with faster.
Right. Right.
Sometimes it's just you got to hit that reset and sort of step back, realize that the energy of that point's not working in your favor.
Game, Barnes Lambropoulos. They lead the second set 4-2.
You know what's interesting too, Steve, is I felt like in the beginning of the set, it was like the template of the first set. I thought that Emhardt and Held were kind of in control, and then all of a sudden you have Barnes and Lambropoulos just staying steady and playing more solid.
Yeah, they look, as much as they're transitioning and hitting the ground strokes we've been talking about, and moving forward, it just looks like there's a little bit more comfort and sort of presence that doesn't look like they're sort of moving outside of themselves. It just sort of look like they're in control. And I think what we saw in the first set, the first couple games of this set from Held and Emhardt, is the same tactical play, but it looks like there's just a little bit chasing, pressing. That one just stayed on the back of the baseline there.
See if Barnes lobs down this line and sneaks over a little bit to his left and looks for that big forehand.
Just a really good lob.
Yeah, he's been lobbing down the line so well today. I mean,
15-30.
I would say beyond the volleys from Lambropoulos and Barnes, that is the number one factor in this match, his lob down the line. What do you think?
100%. I love it, and it seems so effective and obvious, but that is the shorter side of the court. Not everybody can sort of pull off that, consistent, and it's interesting, right? When he's sort of on offense or he has time, he's probably 90% down the line. When he's on defense and he doesn't have the ability to sort of direct it, he's just putting it right in the center of the cross court, like the natural place to lob. So, yeah, really well done by Johnny Barnes. He loves that spot. Look, I mean,
Let's go, Regia. No, think about 30. Oh.
That's a big point right there. Lambropoulos couldn't get out of the way, but that ball was not staying in. So Steve, that's what I was talking about with Barnes. And that's what he does so well when he does it. But you see how smooth he is moving forward there.
so what do you do in that case, Guy? You're Emhardt and Held, you see him moving, and you're sort of stuck. Do you hit behind a guy like Johnny Barnes, knowing he's going to be moving to the ball before you hit it?
Well, it's a great question, Steve. I would say two things. I'll answer it in a couple different ways. One, if he was being effective doing that, and we haven't seen it, and I knew he would do it at a big moment because he hasn't moved forward quite like that this entire match, but I know that's what he's so good at. One, when that's happening and you're in transition and someone's moving forward, the only ball you can look for is the one that's right at your chest. You can't look for left or right. I mean, you can only keep your paddle still. But if it's a continuing problem, just give up the net because you take yourself out of that hand-to-hand combat, which is what he is very good at.
God bless America!
And you just saw Barnes go drive, 2 in a row, but he 100% spotted those drives. You saw how he moved that second drive to the forehand, right?
Yeah, we call that the chicken wing. Yeah, and that's another deuce sudden death point. If we go back to the first set, we saw 3 in a row to finish the set. I think we've seen 2 this set, 1 to each team. But this no-ad, this new scoring that the APTA has put in place this year, right? No-ad, server's choice. It can absolutely otherwise take a very neutral match and make it look one-sided.
Absolutely.
And I would say, right, we don't know what happens if you start going do sad. But I love the introduction of the new scoring. I think it brings a lot of excitement and suspense. And the reality is, it could really be the difference maker in a lot of these matches, which I'm okay with.
Well, absolutely. And, from a time frame perspective and from a player perspective, when you're playing 2 or 3 matches in a day, it does make a difference. And it's the playing field's equal, Steve. I mean, and the reason why that is server's choice on who receives is because we all know the toughest shot in the game is the first volley when you're serving and volleying, if you choose to do that. So I think that's a great add-on as well.
Yep.
So where are we at with the 5 no-ad games that we've had? It's Barnes and Lambropoulos, 4 out of 5.
Yep, 4-1.
Yeah.
Nice patient sort of defense there by Emhardt. That's that backhand you mentioned before guy from Lambropoulos.
Oh, that's a huge weapon. He commits early. He steps in there.
You.
Are they going to stay here, Steve? I think they are. I actually wouldn't mind seeing a little switch here with Barnes going back to the ad side. They've been so successful with that, although I do like the different look, but I just think the way Barnes has been lobbing down the line, that it makes sense. Their baseline scheme has been so good. Like you could see, Lambropoulos, fine, it's a great lob, but he's not lobbing down the line like Barnes does.
I mean,
But never mind.
that's a masterclass right there.
How about that?
That's it's the point of the match for a lot of different reasons, but let's take a look at the replay here. Well, you see the aftermath, Emhardt dropping the paddle in disgust, but Alex Lambropoulos, we talked about his backhand. We haven't seen it a ton. We saw it earlier in that point, but you see him playing in that spot that, in tennis we call it no man's land, but it's just the zone of opportunity, right? And the ball's moving so fast, he doesn't have to worry about the ball getting through him because it's going to come off the screen. But man, he took that ball shoulder height and absolutely, I missed that one, labeled it onto the shoestrings of Charlie Emhardt.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, there was 0 indecision when he was going to hit that. So, and there again, it comes down to a volley, right? I mean, who's going to volley well here? Lambropoulos makes a very difficult volley look easy just because his hands are so quiet.
Yep.
We got match point here, Steve.
40-30. Johnny Barnes,
Back.
he's got 2 match points, right?
Yes. True with the new scoring. And I do like the play of him staying back, even as good as his first volley is.
Game, set, match.
There it is.
Barnes Lambropoulos, 7-5, 6-2. Good stuff. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Charlie. A lot of fun. Good stuff, Jordan. I got you.
I tell you what, Steve, if you could script it up for Lambropoulos and Barnes, that would be the match and the pace that they want to play. And as good as Charlie Emhardt and Zachary Held are, today Barnes and Lambropoulos did it better. And they volleyed better. And again, we talked about it, but I do think the difference maker in this match was Barnes lobbing so well down the line and then using his forward mobility and transition at a really important time in that second set, and it made a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I think their athleticism as well, accentuated the benefit of separating Held and Emhardt, with those deep lobs. I might have called it differently at 2-3 on the first set, to be honest. And, the reality is this is paddle. This is why we like the sport. It's a little unpredictable. The momentum can switch. And, Barnes and Lambropoulos, all kudos to them.
Yeah, I agree. Steve, great calling this match with you. Medinah Cup, wonderful tournament. We have we have our men's semis coming up around 2:30, I believe. Steve, have a great day, and thank you all.
All right, see ya.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. and our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
I am Florentina Hanisch, and today I'll be giving a tip on how to start the match the right way. When I start my match, I like to start playing high percentage plays, so a lot of lobs, a lot of balls through the middle, and when I start driving, I go for 75% pace. I find that a lot of club players go for too much, too big at the beginning, but the muscles are a little bit tight at the beginning of the match, and then errors start accumulating. So beginning of the match, go for 75% pace, keep your swing nice and compact, and go a lot for the middle. For the beginning of the match, I would say for the first 4 games, that's when you should stay focused on playing a lot of high percentage. Once you have played 4 games and your muscles start loosening it up and you figure out strengths and weaknesses of your opponents, then you can start changing the plays. I am Florentina Hanisch. I hope you enjoyed this tip.